Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour, your source for all hard rock, heavy metal, new metal, alternative, punk, horror punk, hardcore, rock, and all local bands, with your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
Hey, this is Jordan Cannata of Stereo Satellite and Dark Sky Choir, and this is BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather, and as always, I bring you guys and gals awesome interviews. Today, it's an honor and a privilege to have Mr. Jordan Cannata. He is the drummer of Adrenaline Mob, Stereo Satellite, and now he's also with Dark Sky Choir. We're going to be talking to him about a lot of this stuff, but Stereo Satellite's debut album is being released later this year and features Jordan's brother, Jared Cannata. On guitar, singer Lucas Rossi, Rockstar Supernova, and bassist Eric Leonhardt from Tantric. Jordan is currently on tour with another new band he has joined entitled Dark Sky Choir. Also May 2019. Jordan filled in for Johnny D and toured with Doro Pesch of Warlock for a co-headline tour with Metal Church alongside Chris Caffery, which is with Trans-Siberian Orchestra and Sabotage. Yeah, there we go. Tommy Bolin, Warlock, and Nick Douglas of Doro. So, how's it going? Let me get that out first before I screw up on anything else, Jordan.
It's going good, man. Going really well. You know, been super busy. But you know, that's the way I like it. I like that I'm always running around making music.
Man, it's like I said, dude. You're the drummer of Adrenaline Mob, Stereo Satellite, Dark Sky Choir, studio musician, and drummer instructor. I mean, you're like the modern day Bugs Bunny of a baseball player. Bugs Bunny pitcher, Bugs Bunny first base, Bugs Bunny second, shortstop, second base, third base. I mean, what the hell, man? I don't see how you sleep.
I don't. I do not get to sleep very often. Yeah, you know, it's definitely a lot. You know, it's a lot on my shoulders. It's definitely a lot of work, but it's also kind of the way I like things to be because it gives me a lot of different outlets. You know, every single thing that I work on has a different style, you know, and it allows me to just get more creative and do so many different things. So it's definitely an undertaking, and it's very hard to juggle from time to time. But, you know, I do everything I can to make it work because I just love, you know, broadening my horizons, you know.
How's it been working with O'Donnell Media Group so far for you, man?
Great, man. I mean, you know, it's actually a very new thing for me, just kind of getting started. But, you know, it's been really, really great. I have all the faith in the world, and they've just been really good to me.
I want to talk about Stereo Satellite, and we're going to move and progress on some all this other stuff that you're doing. But what's impressed or excited you the most about making the debut album from Stereo Satellite, if anything? What's caught your eye about it, if anything, possibly, if you could talk about it, if it's even remotely close on being finished?
Yeah, well, I'm very, very excited to get the Stereo Satellite album out. We've been working on it for a while. We've been working really, really hard on it, and it's a really, really interesting album. It's very, very mainstream and very radio friendly for sure. But it's also at the same time a little hard to kind of categorize. You know, it's a rock album, but it's got some pop elements, but it also has some heavy elements, and you know, it kind of weaves its way through a lot of different genres, which makes it really, really interesting. Yet every single song is just super catchy, and I think that the thing that really excites me about it the most is the four of us have a chemistry together. We work so well together, and I think it really, really shows on this album and with the songs that we've been writing and recording. Working with my brother, you know, for one, is the biggest blessing ever. I love working with my brother, and he and I, you know, we work so well together. We know how each other thinks, and we just know where each other is going. So it makes the process really easy. And then, working with Lucas and Eric has been the same way. It's really become a family. The four of us just work so well together. We get along so well, and it's just really interesting how the different vibes that we all have musically somehow meshed to become something really unique that I don't think any of us really expected it would be. And it just turned into something really interesting that also is, I think, going to attract people that are into every genre, not just rock, not just metal, not just pop or, anything. I think it's going to attract people from everywhere that listen to everything.
Especially with all these bands that you're in, there's different style of drumming that you do for each one of these. Do you prefer one or the other, or does it even matter to you at this point?
No, that's a big part of why I do all of this, is because I enjoy the different styles. Stereo Satellite, like I said, gives me an outlet to do, it's at its core, it's a rock band, but it allows me to weave myself in and out with, some more pop oriented or even R&B or hip hop oriented grooves. And then, going out with Dark Sky Choir or Doro allows me to really let my metal side come out, and then, when I work with other artists like, Sugarmore, that becomes more of a fusion aspect, and I can even get a little jazzy at times. So there's just so many different outlets, because I love so many different types of music. I'm not really into just one thing. So doing all these different things allows me to just kind of let loose and really explore every side of my drumming. And that's why I love doing it.
Let's talk about Stereo Satellite again. Have you guys talked about the current set of songs thrown around, possibly which one you want to push for the first single, possibly, or have you got that far as of yet?
We have been talking about it. We do have an idea. It was a very hard decision to make, because, we, like I said, we really feel like every one of these has that kind of single potential. But we have been discussing it, and we're most likely going to be moving forward with one. We think that it's a really, really good launching pad for us. It's a really, really great song, and I think we're pretty set on it. I'm not going to say what it is just yet, but yeah, we have had that discussion, and we are pushing past that point. Yes.
Any songs standing out more to you than any right now on the album? I know these are really close to you guys. I know that these change every time you listen to it, but are there any that stand out for you possibly that you could talk about?
Okay, well, there are a few. Well, I'll give you a couple of titles that really stand out. I won't tell you which ones we really are planning on as a single or not, but we have a song called Brand New Day that I think is really, really strong. It's a great storyline that it's really about the idea of losing a significant other, whether that be a spouse or a girlfriend or a friend or anything, losing them. And it could be just from an argument and parting ways and not realizing what you had until it's gone, and kind of having those flashback moments where you're realizing what you had and kind of regretting the moment. So that's one that really hits home. It's a story that I think most people can relate to. We have another one called Can't Blame the Girl that really, really, it's a very emotional song that I think a lot of people will really, really relate to, as far as, the experiences that they may have had in their lives, especially women. And then, there are some that I think hit me more, even just, not just for the lyrics' sake, but just for the music and the grooves. We have a song called The Longest Goodbye that I love the way that it moves, the pulse of it. So, there's a lot of them, and it's very, very hard to honestly pick a favorite, because, we went through a pretty long writing process, going back and forth, A, B, just, really having a lot of conversations with each other. And we reached a point where we we all just love every tune, so much. There's another one called Daydream Aviator that I think people will really love. It's kind of about the need to escape into your own mind and kind of escape into your own dreams, because maybe the day you're having or this at the current moment in your life isn't going so well. So you just need to kind of escape into your own thoughts for your own sake, and I think that's something that a lot of people deal with on a daily basis. So, we have a lot of tunes that I think will resonate with people, and they definitely resonate with me, and I know they resonate with the other guys in the band. So, I'm really looking forward to sharing it with people. I think it's a really special body of work, and I'm really, really proud of what the four of us have created together. I'm really excited about it.
Who's producing the album for you guys? Or who produced it for you all?
We actually self-produced this.
Okay.
It's self-produced. We did it ourselves.
Do you like having that freedom to do it versus having a record producer?
There's plus and minus. Yeah, it's great having that freedom because it definitely gives you the ability to just kind of create the way you want to create. But I think, all four of us are also well aware that there's always the benefit of having outside opinions. But that's also what's nice is that, while we did self-produce it, we do have our core group of people, whether it's, friends and family or acquaintances in the music world that we've shared these songs with and got opinions from. So people were letting us know what they felt was strong and what they felt, maybe could have been done a little better. So while we did self-produce it, we also did, expand our ability to write and create, because we were actually allowing other people to hear it and critique it as we were doing it. So it was almost like we were letting a group of people come in and, kind of weigh in instead of having one producer. But yeah, it is nice having that freedom to definitely, go in and just kind of create the way you want to.
So 2017, you took over drumming for Adrenaline Mob, replacing Mike Portnoy and AJ Pero. What was going through your mind when you just took over the reins and replacing two great iconic drummers, in my opinion, man?
Yeah, that was, if we're being honest, I was terrified. Yeah, because, both Mike and AJ are heroes of mine. They have been forever. I grew up listening to both of them, and, so just having my name even in the same sentence as theirs is an honor and then to start playing with a band that they were in, was an honor, but it was also very daunting and, scary, because those two guys have a very loyal fan base themselves. And, I didn't know how people were going to react if they felt, oh, he's not this guy or he's not that guy. So I just went into it trying to, with the understanding of, no, I'm not either one of those guys. I'm my own drummer. And I just, went in and, of course, played, their parts from the songs that they did as accurately as humanly possible, and just added my own little flair when I went in, and then, brought my style into it on the album that I had done with Adrenaline Mob, We the People, and just kind of hoped for the best. And the reaction was great. I received so much love from the Adrenaline Mob fan base, and, I also, I received support from Mike, and AJ's son reached out to me and gave me his support, and it just it went really, really well. And it's really an honor just to even know that I'm part of the same group as those two guys, because they really are heroes of mine.
Adrenaline Mob suffered a tragic loss during the tour in 2017, which took the lives of bassist David Z and tour manager Janet Range. May you all rest in peace. After this, did it take you some time to get behind the kit again, and how much of a toll did this have on you, man?
It was major. I mean, by far the worst day of my life, of course. Worst day of many people's lives, not just mine. And it did take a while to get back behind the kit. Suffered a lot of injuries, physical and mental. So I physically couldn't play for quite some time. It took a while to heal up. And then once I physically healed enough to get behind the kit, I was able to slowly, gradually start, kind of rebuilding my ability. I did suffer some permanent injuries that aren't going to go away. So certain things are definitely not as easy as they used to be. But I at least am fortunate enough to be here and to be able to play. So I'm very blessed in that regard. But it definitely took a while, and it's something that never really goes away. Every time I'm behind the kit or I'm out on a tour, on a bus or something, it's always in the back of my mind, and it's always there. But at the same time, I also know that the only way to honor Dave and Janet is to persevere and to just keep pushing on. And I know that everybody else involved and everybody else, related to the AMOB camp feels the same way. And that's why every one of us, we're all just trying to push on and keep doing what we love, So it's definitely difficult, but I'm here and I'm able to play drums, and it's a blessing.
Do you ever see Adrenaline Mob coming back together?
I don't really know the answer to that question, to be quite honest. No one has discussed anything about it with me. So as far as I know, there's no plans to at the moment. If there's one thing I've learned in this life, it's to never say never. But I'm completely focused on Stereo Satellite and Dark Sky and all these other projects that I have going on right now. So I'm giving those things my full attention, and no one's really mentioned anything to me as far as Adrenaline Mob goes.
So, Jordan, you filled in for Johnny D and toured with Doro Pesch of Warlock. How was this, man? I know you've done a lot of stuff, but you're stepping up your game with this one.
Yeah, the Doro tour was so fun. It was an amazing tour. I had a blast on it. It was really cool. I mean, going into it, just getting the call to do it was a shock enough, because Doro is she's metal royalty, so I was thrilled and honored to get that call. So I only got the call, actually, I want to say maybe a week and a half before the tour.
Jeez.
So I kind of went in under the gun, so to speak. Had very, very little time to learn the whole set, but that whole band they were just so awesome, so friendly. They made me feel like family right from the get-go. We got along so well. It was such a fun tour. And then, when I finally got out there and got to meet Doro, she was just such a sweetheart. And really, that tour could not have been any more fun. It was great. And same thing with the Metal Church guys. We were doing a co-headliner with Metal Church on that tour, and I can honestly say that every single person involved, whether it was band members or crew members, they were all just so incredible that it really made me feel more comfortable, because I was, like I said, I went into it really with not a lot of time to prepare. So it was and I didn't really know anybody involved in either of the camps, with the exception of Chris Caffrey. So, going into it, it was basically me and a whole bunch of people I didn't know. And they just took me in and made me feel like family right out of the gate. And it's definitely a tour that I will never forget.
When you're doing your drumming clinics, what do you hope people get when they come to these clinics to add to their arsenal possibly? What do you hope that they get from your clinics, man?
I think whether it's a clinic, a lesson, a concert, anything, it doesn't really matter what it is. I just hope that someone walks away inspired to, go home and make music. That's always been my passion, and it's always been other musicians that inspired me to do so. So that's all I really hope for. If it's in a drum lesson or clinic environment, then, of course, I'm going to be surrounded by all drummers, and I'm just hoping to teach them even one thing that they don't know, that they can go home and practice and help expand their musical creativity. If it's a concert and, you know, it might not even be a drummer, it could be a guitar player or a bass player or a singer. I just want them to go home saying, wow, that was an incredible show. I want to, you know, write a song like that or put on a concert like that, you know, and maybe they'll, you know, see something as far as the technique that I do or the actual parts that I'm drumming and say, oh, I want to learn how to do that. Maybe it'll be as simple as they see me do a stick twirl or some kind of theatrics and they'll say, oh, I want to try to learn that. You know, I just want people to be inspired to make music because it's something that I know that my life would not be what it was without music. And, you know, I listen to music every day and I'm blessed to actually be making music every day for a living, you know. So if I can inspire, you know, even one person to go home and pick up an instrument and practice it and fall in love with it, that's all I really want. You know, it's because I know what it's done for me and I know how it's made me happy, and I know that it can do the same for other people too. So that's really all I want out of it.
I seen this and I thought this is very, very interesting because my YouTube videos can't get no more than 20 or 30 likes on it. So kudos to you on this, man. Are you surprised your drum solo on YouTube from 2017 has 3 million views, dude? 3 million.
Yeah, it's a shock. I had no idea it was going to go that crazy. You know, I filmed that video right when I joined Adrenaline Mob. They actually had the idea of, you know, let's film a video of you, maybe, you know, go film a drum solo or something so that we could use that video as a way to announce you as the drummer in the band. So I spent a little bit of time, you know, coming up with some ideas, and then I went and filmed it and I sent it out to the guys and they posted it up. And, you know, I knew because Adrenaline Mob had a fan base that it would definitely get, you know, some views, but it just went bonkers. It far exceeded the expectations, I think, of everyone involved. And it's just continued to climb. And it blows my mind. You know, every now and then someone will come over to me and tell me, oh my God, dude, it's got this many views now. And I'll just be in shock. But at the same time, that's also been a really big blessing. You know, it's helped me a lot, you know, as far as connecting with people. I've had a lot of people reach out to me because they saw that video, whether it's, you know, not necessarily even musicians, you know, with gigs or anything, but just other drummers who are telling me, like I said to you, that all I want to do is inspire people. And I've received so many messages from other drummers because of that video about how it inspired them, and they've gone, you know, they went home and started practicing, and they'll send me videos of them, you know, doing some of the licks that I may have done in the video. And that's like just so amazing to me that, you know, people are using that video to actually, you know, they're using it as a learning tool and help themselves improve as a musician and get more creative. So yeah, I never in a million years thought that it would go that far, and I'm blown away that it has. It's something that blows my mind every day.
So when you're coming into the recording studio to lay down your drum tracks, do you do anything that helps you to relax or keep your mind fresh and open to, you know, try to come up with something that you may have not done before or want to kick it up a notch?
Yeah, you know, I guess it depends on the scenario. You know, when I'm working with one of my own bands, like if, you know, when we're recording the Stereo Satellite album, you know, I definitely had the time to sit back and do a lot of experimenting and just kind of let ideas flow and just keep drumming over the song and just keep coming up with different ideas. So, you know, in that case, it definitely was a little easier, I think, to kind of let the ideas flow. But sometimes when I'm doing a for hire session, you don't really have a lot of time. Sometimes it's, hey, come in, got a song for you to do, and you don't really hear the song until you get into the studio. So in those cases, I kind of just like to sit back, close my eyes, and just listen to the song that I'm recording over and over again. You know, if I have the time to listen to it 3 or 4 times, I will, you know, and I just kind of like to imagine different sounding grooves in my head while I'm listening to it, and almost kind of beatbox it even, just to come up with different ideas and grooves. And then I'll say to myself, okay, well, this, should be something a little typical, but maybe here I can get a little more creative, and I'll just start playing around with different ideas. But honestly, the key to it, like you said, is kind of relaxing and not getting too tense. And the more you do it, I think, the easier that becomes. It's definitely daunting the first few times that you're thrown into that scenario where you have to come up with a part very quickly. But in those cases, the thing that I would say the most is just trust yourself. I don't go into it and say to myself, I need to come up with the most epic, crazy drum part ever for this song. I go into it and I say, I need to come up with the perfect part for the song. And sometimes the perfect part for the song is the most simple, typical, basic thing. And then sometimes it's not. So I just listen to the song and imagine what I want to hear. And I just trust my instincts. And if you can just trust your instincts, and then also be open to outside suggestion, because if you're going into this and you have a producer or other band members that might have different ideas, you have to be open to hear them out and be willing to try them. So, I don't think I necessarily have a method to relaxing, but I'm very open-minded. I listen to other people. I take their ideas. I always try them out. And I don't concern myself with saying I have to do the most crazy thing all the time. I concern myself with making sure that it's something that sounds good with the rest of the band.
What made you want to become a musician? What was that spark for you, Jordan, that said, yeah, that's what I want to do right there?
Well, when I was a kid, my dad gave my brother and I pretty much his whole collection of cassette tapes and CDs. He just basically gave us all of his music, and he really introduced the two of us to, all the classic rock, great. And my brother and I just really, really got into it. We were just listening to music every day, all the classics from the Beatles and to Led Zeppelin to AC/DC to Black Sabbath to Van Halen, to Lynyrd Skynyrd, you name it. We were listening to all the big classic rock stuff. And I, in particular, really fell in love with the Beatles at a young age. I had Beatles books, the Beatles movies, every Beatles album. And there was just something about Ringo Starr that caught me, honestly. I really fell in love with the way Ringo's drumming sounded. And I was listening to their stuff every single day, and it made me want to play drums. And the irony was, I didn't really think about it at first. I just always loved listening to music. My brother asked my parents for a guitar when he was a kid. And so they bought him a guitar for Christmas one year. And because they didn't want me to feel left out, they bought me one as well. But I played it for probably 2 days and then just tossed it aside. I didn't want it. And then we went out to a Japanese restaurant one night, and I took home the chopsticks, and I sat down on my floor and I laid out a bunch of books on the floor, and I put on some music, and I just started banging on the books with chopsticks. And at that moment, I kind of decided, you know what, I want a drum set. And I asked my dad for a drum set. And I want to say maybe a month later, I had a drum set in my house. My parents bought me one for my birthday. And I've been doing it ever since. It's just, it's something that I've always loved since I was a kid. I started drumming when I was 8 years old. And I would say it probably was no more than a year or two into it that I knew that this was what I wanted to do.
Now, you're on tour right now, or getting ready to go on tour with Dark Sky Choir, is that correct?
I am on tour with Dark Sky Choir right now. I'm on this call from my hotel room in Hamburg, Germany.
Oh, there we go. So how's the tour been so far, man?
Great. It's been awesome. It's just getting started. We've only had a few shows. We just did a couple of festivals. We did the Inflamen Festival. We did the Metal Magic Festival. And it's been really, really awesome. We've been having a blast. The shows have been going great. The guys are incredible. We get along really, really well. It's been a super fun start. So I can't wait to see what the rest of it brings,
Jordan, how can folks stay in touch with you, buy some merchandise, tour dates, things like that, everything that you've got going on? I mean, dude, you have a plate full of stuff. How could folks how can folks do that?
Well, I'm on Facebook. It's my Facebook page. It's Jordan Cannata Official. My Instagram is at Jordan Cannata. I have jordancannata.com. You can find me on all three of those. My YouTube channel is youtube.com/c/Jordan Cannata. And then you could also follow all the bands that I work with. Stereo Satellite is, we have stereosatellite.com, and we have, all of the different, Stereo Satellite Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, and same thing, darkskychoir.com and Dark Sky Choir Facebook and Instagram, and pretty much every project I'm involved with is on all the big social media platforms, and every one of them has a website, and I have my own as well. So I'm not hard to find.
Jordan, before I let you go, good sir, would you care to do a promo for the show?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Hey, this is Jordan Cannata of Stereo Satellite and Dark Sky Choir, and this is BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Radio Network. Please get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our YouTube link, podcast link, and soon our Twitch link. And also get out and check out Jordan Cannata, the Adrenaline Mob, Stereo Satellite, Dark Sky Choir. Get out and check out everything this guy has done under the moon, because you will not be disappointed, and he's a phenomenal drummer. And Jordan, I wish you guys nothing but the best.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, man.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.